All right, Shalom. All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakach Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, time of this truth. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the hopeful elect. Shalom, Lord willing. This lesson is edifying. All right, now, this lesson, is basically going into the times, the thick of Jacob's trouble is fastly approaching. Okay, the times of Jacob's trouble, in which Esau, which is the so-called white man, all right, which bear rule over the earth, which bear rule over this revived Roman Empire, which is America, NATO, and the EU, America being Babylon the Great. Okay, Esau is going to come down with great wrath, all right, because Esau, he wants to bring forth what? His new world order, all right, the great reset. He wants every man, woman, and child, to receive a micro C-hip inside of them, which is the mark of the beast, And Esau wants to be God on earth, He wants control over man. He wants to play God on earth, man. All right? And these devils, they're going to come down with great wrath, man. The martial law, the FEMA camps, the detention centers, all right? The implementation of the MOTB, people being snatched up out of their houses and taken to these detention centers. All right. And this is all Bible prophecy, because we're coming into the time, the thick of Jacob's trouble. All right. And notice how the scripture call it Jacob's trouble, because Esau's main focus is who? The tribes, man. The people of the Lord, which are who? You so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American, Seminole Indians, man. All right. So-called black and brown people. Okay. Now, this article, it says Donald Trump's new order sparks martial law concern. All right. Now, I'm going to just read a little bit of it. But it says President Donald Trump has ordered federal agencies to increase the flow of military and national security equipment to local law enforcement, a move that has raised concerns about the militarization of policing across the United States. It says research into militarized police forces has found the practice can erode public trust, escalate encounters between police and citizens, and blur the distinction between military operations and domestic law enforcement. This executive order specifically has increased fears around an encroachment toward martial law. The president has already called for his government to review the Insurrection Act, which would give more domestic power to the military, and now wants to provide regular law enforcement with militaristic material. Okay, so these are the times that we're coming into, man. All right, and they're going, they're talking about fears of martial law, and we also know that Trump wants to be able to deport citizens, to that prison over there in El Salvador, man, because we know what all this is leading to. All right, we know what all this is leading to, and not only that, they have I believe the Trump administration is gonna fight for because they say how I believe that's the 13th Amendment, basically how he's saying how birthright citizenship was only for the descendants of the African American slaves, that were here in America. It wasn't for all these other nations to come here, and bear children, and now because their children was born here, they have birthright citizenship. Trump is saying that's not what that was for, So something like that, can affect, the tribes, man. Haitians, Jamaicans, Bahamians, the Cubans, Puerto Ricans, so on and so forth, man. But the thing is, none of, you may have some of us, but for the most part, nobody can really trace their lineage all the way back to, you probably can, if your grandparents, kept those records, or, but nobody on the spot is just going to be able to, because what Esau wants, he just want to be able to round niggas up, man. Because this is why it's known as the times of what? Jacob's trouble. Israel, man. The people of the Lord, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, man. You know? All right. But let's just get into some of the scriptures. Okay. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, verse 7. It says, "Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it." All right. For that day is great, so that none is like it. The time that we're coming into is a time like no other. And if I'm not mistaken, all right, even Yahweh Shai spoke about these times, man. Because the disciples asked the Lord, they said what? It says, "And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world?" Man. You see? And the Lord is going to get into it. And he spoke about the time of Jacob's trouble. When you drop down, it says, verse 21, "For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be." Man, and these are the times of Jacob's trouble that were fastly approaching. A day like no other, a time like no other. All right. It says, "And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be short." So Esau gonna come down with so much wrath. You know, the female camps, the martial arts, the detention centers. If the Lord wouldn't shorten the days, no flesh should be saved, man. The implementation of the MOTB. These devils might have robots and drones in the streets, man. You know, because this Esau wants to bring forth his NWO. Esau wants to play God on earth. And this is why Yahweh Shai needs to return. This is why the Lord needs to come back to save us from the hands of these people, man. All right. To save us from the hands of these people. All right. Okay. And this was going to take place. These devils going to come down with great wrath. All right. We're coming into times of great tribulation, great adversity. Okay. Let's get back to Jeremiah chapter 30. It says, "Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble." You see, the time of Jacob's trouble, the tribes, man. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, because this is Esau's real goal, man. All right, to target the people of the Lord, the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It says, "But he shall be saved out of it," going into the elect. All right, the elect, the remnant of Jacob, the remnant of Israel is who's going to be saved, man. All right. The scriptures say how the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, but shall stay upon the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai, the Holy One of Israel in truth. And our word state in the Hebrew is Sha'an, which go into to lean, to depend on, to trust in, because the remnant, the Lord's elect, in these times that we're coming into, are going to put their trust in the Lord. They're going to walk by faith and not by sight. And the Lord is going to defend them when these devils come down with great wrath. When Esau come down with fury and indignation upon the tribes, the scriptures say what? When they shall come in like a flood, all right? When they shall come in like a flood, those proud waters, when they shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord, Yahweh Shema shall lift up a standard against them, man. You see, the Lord is going to be defending his elect. The Lord is going to be giving his elect power, you know. But let's get more into it, man. Revelation chapter 12. Now, if you go into Revelation chapter 12, you get the context. We understand that this is going into what? The fourth beast, the fourth kingdom, which is the Roman Empire. All right. Now, you had ancient Rome. And fast forward today, we live in the revived Roman Empire, which is America, NATO, and the EU. But all in all, this is still the fourth beast, the fourth kingdom. Okay. Ruled by who? The Edomites, which is the so-called white man. All right. When you read in this chapter, Satan, the devil, is being attributed to what? The great red dragon. Esau / his kingdom, his empire, his power structure, man. You see, because Esau is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Esau, like the scripture say in 2 Thessalonians, even him who, the man of sin, the son of perdition, the mystery of iniquity, which is Esau, whose coming is after the working of Satan. This is the people of Satan in the earth. It says, "Therefore, rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe," which means destruction, "to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil, Esau, is come down unto you having great wrath. And this was going to take place, man. These devils coming down with great wrath, the martial law troops, the FEMA camps, the detention centers, the implementation of the MOTB, you know, the executions. These are the times that we're coming into, man. It says because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. And this is why we see things speeding up. First and foremost, because the Lord is the one speeding it up. But Esau, he's moving fast with his plans, you know, because the scriptures speak about how Esau's wearied with his counsels, man. You know, thou art wearied in thy counsels, man. There's the elites behind the scenes scrambling, you know, trying to bring, you know, Esau got to bring forth this NWO because they working on the Lord's time, man. You know, they see the chariots in the heavens, you know, they see the people of the Lord waking up. This is why everything is speeding up. All right. Because we're in those times, man. And Esau going to come down with great wrath upon the people of the Lord, upon the servants of the Lord, you know. Let's get here. 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 68. It says, for behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you. The burning wrath of a great multitude, Esau, man, and his forces. All right. Esau going to come down with a burning wrath, with great wrath. It says, it's kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you, and fear you being idle with things offered unto idol. And see what they're going to offer, you know, the people of the Lord is what? That micro C-hip, man. You see, that micro C-hip. And we understand that according to the scriptures that we are not to receive the micro C-hip, the mark of the beast. All right. Even unto death, man. The scriptures say, I saw the souls of them that will be beheaded for the witness of Yahushua and for the word of the Most High, which did not receive the MARK in their hands or in their foreheads, man. You see, because we understand that if you receive the MOTB, all right, you're basically that's your allegiance to the beast. All right, that's your allegiance to the beast, man, and Esau. All right, and the Lord is gonna destroy you. Okay. It says, and they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in reproach and trodden under foot, man. All right. They that consent unto Esau and his NWO, the worshiping of the image of the beast and receiving his MARK. All right. In their members, man. They shall be had in reproach and they shall be had in derision and in reproach and trodden underfoot. All right. You're going to be a laughingstock, man. You know, you're going to be a laughingstock. It says, for there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord, man. And when it says those that fear the Lord, it's speaking to the nation of Israel. That's the nation that the Lord was dealing with. That's the nation the Lord gave his laws, statutes, and commandments, the seed of Israel, the seed of Jacob. All right. Once again, Jacob's trouble, man. A great insurrection upon the people of the Lord. All right. And Trump with the so-called Insurrection Act, you know. But let's keep on reading. It says, they shall be like madmen. All right. Esau going to be like a madman in these times, man. Sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord, which is Israel, Jacob, man. All right. Esau going to come down he's going to come down with great wrath upon the people of the Lord, man. Which are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, man. You see, it says, for they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Okay, these are the times that we're coming into. It says, then shall they be known who are my chosen, which is what? The elect. All right. The word elect means chosen. The word chosen means elect. All right. It says, then shall they be known who are my elect, my chosen. Okay. And they shall be tried as gold in the fire, man. See, only the elect are going to make it through these trying times that we're coming into, man. The hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Only the Lord's elect are going to make it through these times and be delivered, man. Okay. It says, hear, O ye my beloved, saith the Lord Yahweh Shemawashai. Behold, the days of trouble are at hand, the times of Jacob's trouble, the time of great tribulation. It says, but I will deliver you from the same. All right. And that's the Lord's elect, his remnant, man. All right. And these are the times that we're coming into. It said, be not afraid, neither doubt, for the Most High Yahweh is your guide. Okay. And even when you read in the scripture going to the Lord is our guide, even unto death. All right. You know, and that's really the point. All right. That's really the point. Okay. All right. These are the times that we're coming into. Esau's going to come down with great wrath. So, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I'm going to close it out. Give infinite praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, the great millstone taught me this truth. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the hopeful elect.